The Monster Below by Greenback, read by Deathlight. Chapter 11, The Magic of the Rainbow. Author's note, this is a gag chapter for April Fool's Day. If you want to read the next canon chapter, please move on to the second miracle. At first, I wasn't sure how to approach Beatbreaker regarding wings. Could having her transfer a pair from her recently deceased donor work? Perhaps, but that was too gruesome. It was better, I figured, to encourage her to create the wings, and then ask for a pair of my own when they were ready. Precisely 1 week after my flight with Soren, and after my parents headed back to Satalanka, I cleaned myself up, brushed my teeth, and put on my finest work clothes. I was dressed to impress, and there was no way Beatbreaker could fail to be moved by my words. But just to be on the safe side, I tucked little Celestia into my pocket, hoping she would bring me luck. Reaching into my pocket, I stroked her and dreamed of the day I would meet her at last. If I couldn't become an alicorn, at least I could fly alongside my princess in equestrian skies. It took me only a few minutes to reach the subway, and in less than 15 minutes, I walked into Beatbreaker's office where she was eating breakfast. She was still dressed in her bathrobe and quite relaxed as she ate leisurely spoonfuls of her oatmeal. "Look who's here," she said. "Everyone's favorite secretary. How are you doing today, Silverspeak?" Focused on giving Beatbreaker a good impression, I returned her smile. Ready to work, earn bits, and pay my way. "On a Sunday? You know you're not supposed to start work for another 2 hours. "Oh, I just woke up early. Thought I'd come in. Never know what action is going to happen here. And who knows, I might come in here and find legs hopping around on their own." Licking the last of the oatmeal from her bowl, Beatbreaker put it down and wiped her lips. "Well, it won't be like that today, but I do have a surprise for you." She stood. "Let's talk in my office." Surprised, I followed Beatbreaker, wondering what wonders she was about to reveal to me. Unaware that in less than a year, I'd be dying upon a table in the operating center as a result of our conversation. Once inside her office, Beatbreaker closed the doors and pulled the blinds before putting up charms to ensure no one could listen in on our discussion. "Sorry about the security, but what we're about to discuss is beyond top secret. In fact, you're the first pony I've brought it up with." She took a deep breath to steady herself. "A few weeks ago, you brought up the subjects of horns and wings. I struggled not to show my surprise, much less the sudden lump in my throat. And ever since then, I've been thinking about it. I think you were onto something. If we can let ponies walk again, what's stopping us from helping them fly or cast magic?" "So, you're gonna try making them?" She nodded. On the outside, I was excited, but calm. On the inside, I was jumping for joy. It's going to take time, but not as much as I thought. You see, I can use the research from the legs and apply it to the wings and horns. There's not much of a difference, it's really a matter of just putting the pieces in place. "How long do you think it will take?" I asked eagerly. "I mean, to do both of them." Beatbreaker pondered the thought, her forehead scrunching up as her brain contemplated the question. "Well, it's difficult to say. It could take months, could take decades. No real way to tell." "Need me to write some proposals?" I asked. If the process was going to take that long, why not start now? Heck, I could have a proposal for the board by sundown, and charm them into giving us funding by breakfast tomorrow. Actually, just one. Beatbreaker said, sensing my excitement. "I'm going to need a specialist for this project. I'm thinking of bringing Glasseye back. Didn't feel right to leave him at the university. If there's someone who can help make wings and horns a reality, it's him." I nodded, but it was more out of reflex than following her words. The whole situation was too good to be true. My dream, all but dead only a few weeks ago, was alive again, and taking a giant step towards coming true. At long last, things were looking up. The letter was quickly composed and sent out, and within 2 days, Glasseye walked into my office on his way to see Beatbreaker. "I felt she would keep you on," he said, looking over my workspace. "The letter I received was too well written for her to have composed it." Glasseye's face hardened slightly. "You're most fortunate, you know. Getting to be so close to the action with all the research and development. I almost said that most of my time was spent at my desk, scribbling words onto paper, but I decided against it. Glass-Eye didn't pursue the matter any further. For Beatbreaker exited her office, perhaps having heard the two of us talking. Or perhaps she recognized Glass-Eye's tone and wanted to save me from one of his put-downs. Much as I once saved her. Glassy-Eye! She shook his hoof. It's wonderful to see you again. Same to you. Now shall we get down to business? Yes, of course. Come in. I've got some plans I want to discuss with you. The two of them went into Beatbreaker's office and shut the door behind them. Absolute silence following a moment later as charms were activated. They stayed inside there for almost 2 hours, but the meeting had been fruitful. For Glass-Eye was most pleased with himself, and Beatbreaker was once again enthusiastic as they came out. Beatbreaker invited me to dinner that night in her apartment, and I was more than happy to join her. Being ever busy in the lab, Beatbreaker's cooking skills weren't the best, and I had a smile while eating some of the dishes that were not delicious, to put it mildly. But our conversations were pleasant enough, and I had a feeling she was saving an important question until the very end. Which, sure enough, she was. Hey, Silverspeak, have you ever heard the saying, great minds think alike? Yes. Well, it turns out we weren't the first to contemplate making wings and horns. Glass-Eye had been working on them himself for the past few months, figuring that he should throw his own hat into the limb replacement ring. I wasn't surprised. Glass-Eye seemed to be the type to compete with his former students for a chance at medical glory. How far along was he? Beatbreaker chuckled. Without a team of his own, it'd be years before he gets anywhere. But he does have plans written up for a prototype of both wings and horns. I took a look, and I think he might be onto something. So, you're gonna join forces? Bingo, two great minds equals results at a much faster rate. As long as the two of you can get along. I didn't think he'd be too keen on you being the project leader. Actually, we did talk about that, and he was fine with me being in charge. Beatbreaker was surprised at the admission. I never imagined he'd be so generous. Anyways, he's gonna bring his plans tomorrow, and if everything works, we can get started on those prototypes by the end of the week. Beatbreaker didn't know it, but I had brought along little Celestia in one of my jacket pockets. Seeing as she had been with me during the first streak of good news, I figured that I'd bring her again in hopes of scoring a second win, and she had pulled through again. That's great! Now, how do I fit into all this? Oh, I think you know. Beatbreaker said with a slight grin. We need a proposal for the executives, but at this stage in the game, I think we got a 100% chance of it getting accepted. You think you can have one ready by tomorrow? Easily. Beatbreaker grinned. Perfect! She took hold of her glass and raised it for a toast. To the next step in medical evolution. I raised my own glass, and the two of us clinked, and the most worthy of toasts indeed. Where Beatbreaker's previous research had lasted years, her newest project went faster than any of us could have hoped. As Beatbreaker predicted, Quinn Counter and the board of directors were more than happy to throw more money and supplies our way. Glass-Eye, having taken extended leave from the university, soon became a regular sight at Metacomp. As before, my position as secretary had me writing up reports for each day's work, giving me a unique perspective at seeing Beatbreaker's progress. I made it a habit to bring little Celestia to work, and she soon was a constant fixture on my desk. Time and time again, she seemed to work her magic. And I wonder, there really was a charm in the statue that had been forgotten when I purchased it. With the rapid advancements in the lab, I allowed myself to entertain the thought that she was actively playing a part. The months passed by quickly. Before I knew it, winter was setting in. Hearthwarming Eve came by. Little did I know that I'd be receiving the greatest gift of my life on that blessed day. Silverspeak, would you like to see them? Of course, I'd love to. Beaming, Beatbreaker brought me into the lab, where Glass-Eye was rolling out 2 tanks for my viewing pleasure. Months of work had resulted in a fully functional set of wings, and a normal-sized horn, and they were both for me, submerged in goo. They're beautiful. I said, pressing my eyes against the tanks. The wings were firm, the individual feathers were perfectly lined and in place. The horn itself was perfectly formed. The spiral, indistinguishable from the ones used by spellcasters all over the world. Indeed they are. Lesai said, "We're these specimens of the best science has to offer. Why, they're even ready to be tested on a patient if you wished." Beatbreaker chuckled. "Don't be silly, Glass-Eye, don't be silly. There's still so much work to be done before we even reach that stage. Boulder Dash, if you wanted, we could sell them onto some pony within an hour and they'd be ready to go." He eyed me. "Indeed, good Silverspeak here could become a Pegasus right now if you wanted to. And who knows, perhaps that horn would work on him as well." There are moments in our lives where we are given golden opportunity, when destiny itself speaks to us. Of that, I have no doubt. And to hear the words coming from Glass-Eye, I knew it was one of those golden moments. It was as if destiny itself had whispered the words into his mind, prompting him to say what I wanted to hear for so long. It was my chance, and I took it. Why not? Beatbreaker was surprised to hear me speak so suddenly. "Sorry? Why not? I'd be willing to try." "What, had these be sewn onto you? Don't be silly." My legs were shaking as I gathered my courage. "Beatbreaker, do you remember that moment we had at the restaurant? When you said you owed me one, this is what I want." I gulped. "I want to try these wings, and that horn too." Beatbreaker stared at me for the longest moment, no doubt wondering if I was playing some kind of joke. "Silverspeak, you can't be serious." "I am. I want this." She gave a nervous laugh. But you're an earth pony. You can't have wings or a horn." "Why not?" Beatbreaker stumbled for an answer. Because it's not natural, I know, and I don't care. But this is an opportunity of a lifetime, the chance to become something more than I am. To defy fate and give it the hoof and say, "Screw you for making me an earth pony." Glass-Eye grinned and nodded his approval. "Well said." "Don't tell me you're taking his side." Beatbreaker said, "Why shouldn't I? This is a grand chance. How many other ponies would like to become alicorns? Why, if we pull this off, we can make the dreams of thousands come true. And if you owe Silverspeak a favor, what a better way to grant it than by making his dream come true?" For a long moment, Beatbreaker was caught in a quandary, unsure whether to go forward or refuse my request. I was ready with all the possible reasons why this is a logical step, but listing them out wasn't necessary as Beatbreaker sighed. "Alright, I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'll do it." There are no words to describe the thrill of having your dreams come true, so I'm not going to even try. But I will say for the rest of the afternoon, I was the happiest pony in the world. An ever-present grin was on my face as Beatbreaker and Glass-Eye took my medical data, made measurements, and prepared the surgical center for surgery. And then, just like that, the moment finally came. I was cleaned, washed, scrubbed, and ready for the surgery that would change my life. Beatbreaker and Glass-Eye dressed in the medical scrubs, and I donned one of those dinky medical gowns. I would normally be repulsed at having to wear the thing, but I endured it as a badge of honor as I entered the surgical room, grinning even more as I saw the table waiting for me. Even better, little Celestia stood on the stand by the table. I asked Beatbreaker if it could be brought in, saying it was a good luck charm. When I woke from surgery, the first thing I wanted to see was the princess who had inspired my lifelong quest. Getting onto the table, I relaxed as Beatbreaker applied the straps that would keep me from moving. Even the slightest twitch or accidental movement could have disastrous consequences, especially when the needles and fluids were being injected into my brain. "Ready?" Beatbreaker asked. That was a silly question. You bet. Alright then, here we go. Glass-Eye, could you please put him under? Glass-Eye nodded. It would be my honor. He turned to me, his horn glowing. But I wasn't looking at him. I was so excited, images of my new alicorn status washing over me like the world's greatest daydream. But as I was waiting to be put under, something made me look up at Glass-Eye. I noticed something strange about him. His smile didn't look right. "Hey," I joked. "You look way too happy to be putting me under." He nodded. "Why shouldn't I be? After all, this is the conclusion of so much work. It's been such a long time, and I'm finally here." "Glass-Eye, can you do the monologues after we're done, okay?" Glass-Eye ignored her. "You have no idea how much work went into this. And not just that horn and those wings, but the legs as well. All those years of pushing Beatbreaker, nudging her in the right direction. I was so lucky to even find her, for she made it so much easier than it could have been." I chuckled, not sure where this was going. Okay? But even then, she didn't have the talent needed to actually pull this off. Glass-Eye said, speaking as if Beatbreaker wasn't only a few feet away. "I had to do most of the work, and convince her it was actually her doing." Beatbreaker stared at Glass-Eye. "Professor, what are you?" "I could have done it myself, but who would listen to the efforts of an old pony with delusions of grandeur? And what self-respecting professor would have spent a lifetime worshipping the laws of science, only to suddenly turn against them in the quest to play God? No, it's much easier to turn a young, butt-headed student into my agent, who would then get more funding so I can complete my work." Beatbreaker's face lost all of its color. "The two of you taken off to Metacomp. I hadn't planned that. All seemed lost. I wanted to charge up there and take what was rightfully mine. But I bid my time. I knew you, Silverspeak. I knew you wanted to become an alicorn. It was so obvious. I couldn't fathom how Beatbreaker couldn't see it. But I guess it's because she's a zebra who couldn't see 6 inches beyond her own muzzle. It was only a matter of time before you would manipulate her into making horns and wings. So I continued my own work, waiting for the time to strike." He raised his hoof. "And now, here we are, just as I planned." He chuckled. "Well, perhaps not me. After all, the real Glass-Eye wouldn't follow such dark paths in his advanced age, would he?" Beatbreaker was getting away from the table. "What are you?" "Shut up, you stupid zebra," Glass-Eye said. "You've been useful in getting me here and perfecting the technology I began, but your services are no longer required." Glass-Eye's horn glowed. "Goodbye, my dear." A bolt of green magic shot from Glass-Eye's horn and hit Beatbreaker in the head. She was thrown across the room and smashed into the wall, where she collapsed in a heap. I couldn't move, not from the straps, but from the sudden, absolute terror that gripped me. "Well then, that was fun." He turned his attention back to me. "But now it's down to business, and I suppose there's no longer a need for this." His horn lit up, glowing brightly. But not only his horn, for Glass-Eye was glowing as well. Beatbreaker's professor changed. His skin fell away, as did his clothes. Strange shapes appeared on his back, and his aged body transformed into something black and rotten. His horn twisted itself, wrapping until it became like a cancerous growth. I couldn't believe it. It couldn't be true. Wasn't even possible. But it was. "You!" Queen Chrysalis, the leader of the Changelings, grinned like a devil out of the darkest pits of Tartarus. "Oh dear," she taunted. "Looks like some pony discovered my secrets. How unfortunate, such a shame too, that is, if that certain pony was to raise the alarm." I struggled against the straps, suddenly aware that I couldn't move. Chrysalis's horn lit up, and the surgical machine came to life. "You provide all the data I need to grow my own horn that will amplify my power beyond imagining. And since you've been so useful, I'll let your dream come true. Such a shame, it'll hurt beyond anything you can imagine." She laughed, I screamed, and the surgical unit began to move. Suddenly I wondered if the old tales of your life flashing before your eyes was true after all. That was only a minute ago. In a span of a single minute, I had gone through my entire life. All those years gone by in what feels like an instant, and it feels so unfamiliar. All the straining, all the struggle, research and yearning, and my dreams are never to be. And now, here in the darkness, it ends. Everything slips away. My strength, my will, my vision, everything. I finally yield to the darkness and allow it to take me. I slip away. I fall deeper into the...
No!
Wait, that voice. What was that?
This shall not stand.
Who is that? A god? A deity mightier than Celestia? The power of that voice calls me back into the world of the living. I open my eyes, trying to clear the blood dripping from the horn of my head, but there's no joy at his presence. I look to Chrysalis. Was she the one who brought me back? Does she want to torment me even further? Does her bloodlust demand my suffering? No, it can't be. She's baffled. What could confuse her so much that...
Your wickedness ends here, interloper.
That voice is beside me. Calling out my strength, I turn and gaze upon... Wait. There's nobody besides the bed, nobody except...
You will pay for your crimes, Queen Chrysalis.
Little Celestia screamed. I stared at the tiny statue. What the fuck? Little Celestia leaps from the stand and explodes with a dazzling burst of light, momentarily blinding me. When it fades, little Celestia is gone, replaced by the real Celestia. Princess Celestia? I gasped. You! Queen Chrysalis roars. I defeated you once, I can defeat you again. Reaching behind her back, Chrysalis yanks out a baseball bat. Celestia yanks out her own bat.
Bring it on, sucker!
With a mighty leap, the two jumped into the air and collided, flailing away at each other with their baseball bats. It's clear this fight will not be decided with our skills with baseball bats. Chrysalis growls a minute later, but through her skill in the most time-honored tradition of warfare. Indeed. The two slam their hooves together. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war. The two of them shout. Nothing happens. Oh, wait, we don't have thumbs. Queen Chrysalis says. With a giant whack, Celestia hits Chrysalis in the head. A huge bump appears along with little birds that flew around her skull. Another hit smashes Chrysalis through the wall, leaving a cartoon outline of the Wicked Queen that would not be out of place in a Saturday morning cartoon show. Princess Celestia runs to me. Silverspeak, are you alright? Princess, but how? Why? What? Celestia undoes the straps holding me down. There's no time to explain, Celestia is knocked aside as Chrysalis karate kicks her in the jaw, and then rips the horn from my head. Ow, I say. Chrysalis tosses me a band-aid. At least now I have a horn strong enough to complete my destiny, and let me rule over Equestria forever. She smashes my horn into her own, rising up as they both glow, filling the room with a green energy. Before my eyes, the wicked changeling queen transforms, gaining enormous muscles until she's the size of a bus, and packing enough power to punch through an entire building in one blow. Curses! Celestia shouts. Chrysalis roars, her voice thick with the dark energy of an exploding sun. You haven't even seen my final form. An explosion of green light shoots the princess and myself into the wall. A horrifying growl fills my ears as the light fades, and we both see Queen Chrysalis in her final form. Terrible form. Fear and cower before me, fools! A bucket of water says on the floor. For a new ruler is about to take over for all time. The water bucket flies out the wall and into the sky above. Celestia grabs me. Quick, Silverspeak, eat this cake. It shall give you the strength and fury of 10 million ninjas. She rams a 10-foot tall cake down my throat. But instead of giving me the fury of 10 million ninjas, it gives me diabetes. Now we must hurry, for the prophecy had foretold that you, Silverspeak, will defeat Chrysalis once for all and save us from certain destruction. What in the hay are you talking about? There's no time to explain. Celestia throws me onto her back and spreads her wings, only to stop and gaze upon the brilliant shine. Holy me, I never realized how pretty my wings are. Let's fly to the castle. We rocketed out of the building. and I hung on for dear life as Celestia shoots over the equestrian countryside at 10 million miles per hour, reaching Canelot in approximately 1.05 seconds. Smashing through the wall of the royal castle, we landed in the throne room, where Princess Luna was waiting, along with the bearers of the Elements of Harmony, all decked out in military wear and carrying 150,000 machine guns each. "Luna!" Celestia shouts. "I have him!" "Fairly, I say our chance of victory have doubled, sister." Luna shouts. "Can someone please tell me what's going on?" I pleaded. Before anyone can answer, a flash of lightning destroys the roof. The sky above darkened to the color of blood, signaling the end of the world. Bucket Chrysalis used her terrible magic to become 100 million miles tall, and somehow smashing through Equestria, destroying all in her path. "Victory is mine!" "Quick, thine sister," Luna says. "To battle!" Launching herself to the sky, Luna summons the Royal Equestrian Army, which attacks the Bucket with everything they got. But Bucket Chrysalis' appetite for destruction is insatiable, and it's clear that the volley of bullets and rockets and machine guns and tanks and rockets and knives and pencils and thumbtacks won't stop her. "Quickly!" Celestia cries. "To Pinkie Pie's war train!" Pinkie leads the way as we run to the war train. It's bright pink, blue, and purple, and despite it being only 2 carts long, it packed even enough firepower and destruction to make even the mighty Chrysalis tremble. Gunning the engine, Pinkie sends the train on the path of death and despair. "Choo-choo, mother bucker!" she screams. Unfortunately, the train goes on a closed track that loops endlessly, sending the war train on the endless circle to nowhere. "What's the point of this thing?" I shouted. Bucket Chrysalis wipes out Manhattan in a single stomp. The Wonderbolts fly in their battle zeppelin, firing magical rays of sunshine that do absolutely nothing. Bucket Chrysalis lashes out and destroys the zeppelin in a single swipe. Soren, the only surviving member of the Wonderbolts, hurls pie after pie to no effect. Not even the boysenberry ones can hurt our mortal foe. "DJ Pwn 3! Celestia shouts, grabbing a Pokeball. "I choose you!" She hurls the Pokeball, and the famed DJ pops out, base cannon in hand. "Stand back, every pony. I got this." She turns her base cannon to full power and fires, the web smashing into Bucket Chrysalis. But even though the metal is dented, the power of webs is not enough to defeat the most terrifying enemy Equestria has ever seen. "Silverspeak, your hour has come. You must defeat Chrysalis." "I don't even... Fine, forget it. What do I do?" "Pinkie Pie." Pinkie hands me a muffin, crafted with the utmost care and love, baked in her ovens, using only the finest ingredients and supplies until it became the warm, soft morsel in my hoof. Also, it has rat's poison in it. Leaping from the train, I run to Celestia, who turns into a motorcycle. I jump onto her back, and she drives up the magical rainbow that suddenly appeared out of nowhere for no reason at all. We drive up, higher and higher, into Equestria's sky, stopping for nothing and no pony. Except for a brief bathroom break and a detour at the 7-Eleven to get some pre-made sandwiches and a lottery ticket. We also took a brief nap because we're sleepy. But eventually we burst through the stratosphere into the cold, heartless void of space, driving towards the very top of Bucket Chrysalis. "Victory is mine! Also I can go in space somehow!" "Now, Silverspeak!" Motor Celestia shouts. "Finish her!" As we leap from the rainbow, I toss the poison muffin into the bucket, where it sinks into the water within. "No!" Bucket Chrysalis screams. "This cannot be!" The bucket trembles, shakes, then implodes upon itself as we plunge towards the earth far below, accelerating to Mach 25, leaving a sonic rainbow in our wake as Bucket Chrysalis explodes, producing the biggest fireball the world has ever seen. Naturally, we look awesome in front of it as we shoot down, casually ignoring the incredible heat that sears our backs into blackened messes that will permanently leave us without feeling our nerve endings that are burnt away into nothingness, making it really hard to enjoy a back massage. We fall and fall and fall and fall, and then everything goes white. When I can see again, I'm surprised to find myself no longer upon Motorcycle Celestia or even on Equestria. I'm somewhere strange. It's ethereal, almost like a hallway made from the elements of the cosmos themselves. It's warm here, and quiet, peaceful even. I look around, there's nobody in sight. Hello? A form emerges from the wispy clouds ahead. It's Celestia. I bow.
Oh, Silverspeak, there's no need to bow here. We are equals.
The Princess of the Sun is treating me as an equal? But your highness, what do you mean? What is this place?
Few have ever been here. The last one that was here was Twilight Sparkle, my prized student. She walked the path you do now.
As if on cue, screens appear before us. I looked at them and gaped. They shone me at all stages of my life.
I've been watching you, Silverspeak, for such a long time. Watching you learn and advance your quest to understand friendship.
But I've never studied friendship. Celestia pointed to the screens.
Look at all you've learned, all your accomplishments.
I gazed in awe at the screens, seeing myself disappoint my parents by being born without a horn, being bullied by Mangus, failing to get a good job, failing my quest to find a way to turn into an alicorn, failing to get into the library, and failing to break in undetected. There are also many poignant scenes of me taking showers, snoring in bed, and brushing my teeth. Also that one time I lost my keys and spent 2 hours hunting for them.
You've come so far and done so much,
Celestia says, beaming with pride.
And now it's time to fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? Taking a deep breath, Celestia starts to sing. You've come such a long, long way, and I've watched you from the very first day, to see how you might grow, to see what you might do, to see what you've been through, and all the ways you've made me proud of you. Never having been one to get any enjoyment out of musicals, I looked around and scratched my nose. It's time now for a new change to come. You've grown up and your new life has begun. To go where you will go, to see what you will see. What time is it? I hope I set the TV to record the latest episode of SpongeBob SquareSaddles. To find what you will be, for it's time for you to fulfill your destiny. Celestia beams at me. Are you ready, Silverspeak? Sure, I guess. Celestia closes her eyes and floats into the ether. Then, to my astonishment, so do I. We float up into a bright light above us, and I feel something magical happening to me. It's like the surgery at Medicom, but without any pain. Without the sting of betrayal. I'm hesitant, but I give in to the sensation. Celestia knows what she's doing, and this feels natural. Like it's always meant to be. Like this was the reason I was born. I feel something on my forehead, and then on my back. I twist around to look, and oh sweet Celestia, wings! I have wings, and not only that, but I have a horn as well. Gifts given to me by the ruler Requester herself. An alicorn. I'm an alicorn. Yes, 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 yes! The light flashes, and suddenly we're back in the Canterlot throne room. It's filled with hundreds of ponies, but why were they here? Why am I standing beside Princess Celestia, Luna, Twilight, and why? Why in heaven's name am I wearing a dress, a tiara, and golden horseshoes?
Mares and gentilcolts,
Princess Celestia says.
I'm proud to present you Princess Silverspeak.
What? I can barely hear the thunderous applause as I frantically turn to Celestia. But your highness, I'm not a princess! Celestia beams.
Yes, you are, Silverspeak. You're an alicorn princess.
But I'm a guy! She laughs.
Oh, Silverspeak, you crack me up.
The crowd continues to applaud, cheering their arrival, their newest princess. In the end, things turn out alright. Despite the fact that everyone refers to me as a princess, and that I have to wear a dress at real occasions, life is pretty good actually. My parents moved to Camelot, now the proud parents of a princess. Something no other family in Satalanka can boast of. I got my own tower in the royal castle, my own guards. I'm making more clown costumes. And because I'm part of the royal family, the other princesses treat me as a beloved sibling. And it's hard to stay upset with Celestia not technically being my sister. How cool is that? But even better is the raw cosmic power that flows through me. Where Celestia controls the sun, Luna the moon, Cadence love, and Twilight harmony. I use my incredible power to control the consistency of dirt. Still, I can't complain. I mean, I got my dream after all. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Well, except for having to wear that dress, and for having to marry snails. The end.